Hello, everyone, and welcome to my interview with Sjokz. I wanted to interview somebody, and I decided it would be Sjokz. This coverage is brought to you by Alienware. I have no set itinerary for what or agenda for what this interview is going to be like,
As per usual.
as per usual. But I thought that we'd sit down and just talk. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It's definitely ups and downs. I just counted. It is the wait, 43rd, 4-3, right? I always mess that up in English for
Yeah,
some reason.
43rd, yes.
Day without human physical contact. I had a little bit of interaction with like delivery people. I mean, that sounds wrong, but people who dropped off packages, but that doesn't really count, I guess. But no touch for so long. That's
Yes,
weird. Yeah.
yes. Well, I'm sorry to hear that not touching story. Either way, so so you're hanging in there. Okay, how has this been working remote? Because obviously I've been doing my interviews here and trying to do a lot of content for my computer. You thankfully I think had been set up a little bit before this with, for instance, the same microphone that I have. Or no, maybe that's whatever. Anyway, you get the point.
You told me to get this one.
Yeah, exactly. And so you've been getting a lot of stuff set up. So transitioning to being an entirely at-home content creator, what has this been like for you?
Well, when it comes to the LEC, it's really weird, but we had so many issues in the beginning. And I figured it would be easier, but and it's logically it would be easier because you go back to the roots, and we used to always do all of this stuff online. You remember the days. But the fact is that this show has gotten so complex that is at a level of complexity with statistics and graphics and all kinds of interaction and people that are in contact with each other and production quality as a whole, that I think from the LEC side, we wanted to preserve as much of that as possible to go online. And in hindsight, that was not ideal because the most important thing was to get a show on the road. So I guess it took us like a week or two to figure that out and be like, okay, maybe it doesn't have to be like the top of the line. The most important thing is that the games are there. And once we found that groove and kind of saw the joy in, being back to basics and being in your living room, I think it went much better. I really liked the moment that the cameras were added, because without cameras, it was, oh my God, it
Yeah.
was so boring. It's so weird because like so much as a broadcaster is your face, your expressions, and your body language. And that was really, really tough for me.
Yeah, I think we were trying to figure out a technical solution for us recording this interview, and originally I was worried I wouldn't be able to see your face because you're recording locally,
Yeah,
and just being able to see your face, it brings so much more to the interview. So I
it
can totally
does.
relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard though, because it was like, oh, this person has lights, this person doesn't have lights, this person has a big window, this person doesn't. So when it gets dark, they had to adjust, and this mic, and then we have this, oh shit, like stuff like this
You
happens,
bump the
so
microphone. Yes. Yeah.
bump the microphone, the levels get fucked up, because there was this one time where the producer was like, oh, I have to fix your audio levels. And then they did, but it was not the way it was on Twitch. And on Twitch, it was mega loud and people were pissed. It's like, but we made it work.
Well, what was it like working on the finals? Because obviously it's one thing when you're like, okay, we're gonna bring our like studio experience at home, but whenever you have to build like this epic mega moment of spring final champions and you're just doing this from your apartment, it's a little different, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the motivation for me really kicked in when the playoffs started, though, because I mean, it is still very exciting. And I think we just tried to have a balance between, listen, we know the situation is shitty, so we kind of had the whole cricket noises in the stadium videos. But on the other side, we also want to celebrate the fact that we are able to do this, and we're one of the only things in the world, like forms of entertainment, that can continue live. Um, and we embraced that and had kind of an emotional video with Trevor. But yeah, it was definitely seeing the trophy raise. It was better done in LCS, I think. I don't know. C9 looked more excited than there was
They were more excited, but then they
confetti.
also broke the trophy. I don't know if you heard
And then
about
they
that.
broke it. Yes, yes,
Yes.
they did. And they're blaming each other for it. I talked to them.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks. I mean, you know how it is. The stadium shows is just, it's so much fun. It's so great. It's the energy, it's everything. But yeah, we got to
No,
do
I
a show.
think, I mean, I obviously prefer to do stuff at the studio, but I was surprised at how easy it was for me to just like There is a level of convenience for me at least, where it's like I'm sitting here, I'm watching the games on the screen here, and like
Yeah.
in between the games, I'm listening to the analyst desk while doing something else and just chilling, and then I just pop up and do an interview at the end. And so in a sense, I was like, this is kind of relaxing. I could kind of get used to this way of doing these interviews and this coverage. But it really, whenever it was like, oh, it's finals weekend, and we would be in Texas right now at some cool thing. I have a old high school buddy that was going to come out to watch the games with me, and uh, like even one of the big questions I kept asking the people who were competing in finals that I interviewed, it was just like, what do you do now? Because normally, you'd go out in Texas and you'd do some big dinner with your team to celebrate, and then there'd be some sort of after party, and then
Yeah.
and instead it's like you just walk out, you grab a glass of water, and you load up Valorant or something. You know what I mean? It's like so weird. And so I think that was the first time where I was really like, oh man, this really sucks, right? Like it'd be so much fun. And I think, we were gonna do a live hotline league and all that. So it's just there's all these really cool things that happen at finals that there's no way to replicate. So
No. And also for instance, it's the same in NA. Like you go to places where you haven't been with finals for a long time, or you haven't ever been. We're gonna go to Budapest for the first time, where there's so many fans, and for them it just sucks as well, because they know, oh, maybe they'll never come back or whatever. Hopefully, of course, we will be able to, but yeah, it sucks all around. The viewership was good though for most. I mean, I guess for LCS and for LEC, we haven't seen all of playoffs yet in other parts, but that's good, and people were happy, and that's all we can be happy about.
I think we could be happy about other things too. I think.
Oh yeah, but
we
when it comes to the show, we had a
it's
show.
like that's what we do. All right. So outside of what work have you been doing outside of LEC?
So I had a couple of standing sponsorship agreements. The Omen thing got announced a while ago, and can I say that here?
You can say
Sponsored
that's
by
fine.
Alienware. And work with Red Bull and stuff. So all of that was easy to kind of do stuff from home. But honestly, most of my work is on pause, and like with the expectation that we're going to catch up on all those days when everything is over. Even
which is kind of scary, right? It's like whatever you do, like
scary too.
It's when you do the 3-day weekend and you're like, well, I now have to do 5 days worth of work in the next 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I haven't traveled for 2 months or 3 months, and now I'm going to travel 10 times as much in the next 3 months, which I don't know. I'm trying to be careful, because I think even if we get to a situation where everything is like legally okay, you're allowed to do this and that, I think I'm going to be as careful as possible for as long as I can.
Yeah.
If it allows me to. And I realize I'm in a very lucky position, because there's so many people who just, have to go to work. So I just count my lucky stars, and I try to be not that negative about like the money that's being lost, because I'm not spending anything.
Right.
I'm not spending anything, which is good. Yeah, I can do a lot of things offline. There have been a lot of things coming in. Shout out, I'd love to cast some Valorant. I've had I want to cast, basically, which is what I discovered. And I think it'll be too difficult to do for League. Even though if I believe if I could work hard, I could probably do it. But I understand that it's like an established thing. But I'd love to try it in Valorant, because I play it so much. I'm really trying to learn as much as there is. The jobs that I did sign up for, I got turned down because they wanted FPS casters, which I totally get. But I hope there's also an opening for, and then again, I have a job. So I also don't want to take anything away from anyone, but it's just an aspiration that I have that I'd like to try.
Have you heard about TGI Fight Night?
I have. And I was see you were casting, Broden's casting,
and Launders.
And Launch, which is really cool. So I was going to ask you if you ever need someone.
No, I totally would doubt. So we really enjoyed doing it, and actually it was funny because we were trying to think about people who we want to participate, and we were really bummed that obviously because of server issues we couldn't reach out to you. The only thing is timing, because we tend to do it at 6 in the evening here, which I think is 2 a.m. where you're at.
I'll stay up for
really?
one. If we do, you do it every week, right? So
yeah, yesterday was the experiment, and I think we will probably continue to do it. But I think that would be super fun. I mean, the viewership and stuff isn't wild, but I think everyone's just doing it for fun right now, and I think it can be Launders was having a good time learning how to cast it, and I think it'd be super cool for you. So yeah, let's figure that out. We're gonna try, I think, to do one a week from today. So
Is there a spec mode?
Yes.
How does it work? Okay,
Yeah. So
there's
we
it. That makes
had
sense.
we had Amanda, who's one of the LCS observers. She was doing observing for us, and so
Awesome.
it was behind the scenes. It was Buddy, who you know, and
Yeah.
Broden, and myself, and Amanda, and Launders. And so Buddy was like live producing it, similar to using vMix, which I think is what they use for
Yeah.
LCS, maybe for LEC too. And
Yeah.
then and so he was able to feed us back like a custom feed of what Amanda was observing and stuff. So it actually like it's kind of legit. I don't. You should look at some of the footage or whatever. I mean, we're all goofing off during it, but
I like
I was really
it.
impressed with how it came together. So yeah.
Well, we share a manager, so he'll say that I need to charge you, but I'll do it for free because
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to do that. By the way, I did see you tweeting recently about all of the annoying sponsors sending you
only you no, I
DMs and
didn't use any of
opportunities.
those words. I didn't use annoying, I didn't use all, and I didn't use sponsor. I used the word business type emails, which you know as well as I that often people send you
Yeah,
like
that's
this,
true.
like the
That's
most
true.
whack stuff. And I'm very thankful, I'm very grateful, but don't DM people serious business stuff. I mean,
I
and
mean,
then you're like,
people can
you can send
DM me
me.
serious business stuff. I will
That is
take
so on brand.
if somebody wants to send me a physical letter, a message in a bottle offering me money for a brand deal. Listen. Travis Gafford Industries. It's the economy's at a different
How are
place
you
than it
doing?
was
How are you
6 months
doing?
ago. I'm doing okay. I mean, Alienware has been
Oh
really
my god.
good to about
Sorry.
this, and they're
Do
just
you see
like,
this vein?
oh yes,
Never.
sorry.
Just gonna hide it.
Wait,
Go ahead.
are you okay?
Yes,
Anyway,
big
um,
throbbing vein.
Alienware's been really good about not like saying, they're being very flexible. Like MSI gets canceled, and it's not like, well, Travis, you know how we were gonna pay you for that? Give us that money back. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we were figuring out some other stuff, maybe it's some Valorant content or whatever. So they've been really good. So it's not been too spooky. I've been helping out some family members who are not able to get paid anymore because their jobs are not so that's like a little bit of where some of the grind is coming from for me is like
Yeah.
let's try to take advantage of this. And just like being at home, it's kind of funny in that I usually work from home, but being forced to stay in, I'm like,
Yeah.
I should just figure out something productive to do. So that's why doing interviews with
Well,
you like might be even be making more content. So
well, yeah, I've gone back and forth between that because I guess you used the word content creator for me before, but like I don't consider myself a content creator because my income isn't
yeah,
content creation, but it is a tool as to which to grow my brand, which is important in other fields. But like my profession and my bread and butter is hosting and everything that's like public facing camera work, right? But on the other hand, you do feel that pressure. But I did read an interesting opinion piece at the beginning of all this that was like, oh, you see all these, oh, it's time to learn a new hobby. It's time to learn a new language. It's time to do that
yeah,
thing you want. It's like, you know what? It's also just time to try and get through this unscathed. And that's what it was for me. I mentally, sometimes it's been hard to even get up in the morning and have energy for like also on top of my insomnia of anything. So I've tried not to stress myself. And like today, I felt super good. So I did a bunch of stuff. I'm doing this with you. I did some taxes stuff. I caught up on some business emails. I went on some calls because I just take things as they go. And again, I realize we're very lucky that we can, right?
yeah. Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
kind of
I'm
go
very
back and forth. Like the other day, I definitely, um, so like I realized, so I love having roommates and I love living with Kobe, but his family's been quarantined for like a month and he's been quarantined for like a month, so he left to go visit them
yeah,
because he was getting very stir crazy. Like there was what that Narcos meme of the guy just like
yeah.
staring off. Like one day I came out and he was literally doing that outside of all of our windows. He would just walk around the living room. And so he was definitely going a little stir crazy. Anyway, so he took off to go visit them and drove up to their place. And I realized I like having a roommate, but man, it was so nice to just have the place to myself for like a
Oh,
couple days. And for like half a day, I just sort of like lounged in the living room,
half a
chilled.
day. That's
Yes.
nothing.
Well, and the funny thing is, I'm not Mr. Productivity, you know what I mean? But I just
Yeah.
mean like, I was trying to do a lot earlier this week, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna stop for now. So
Yeah. But the
Valorant actually
whole
coming out.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. No, I was just
Uh,
gonna add the fact that I like my boyfriend doesn't live here, so I'm not quarantined with him. And first I was like, yeah, that sucks. But then I was like, oh my God, your relationship has to be really freaking strong, like marriage, like even with children and all of that, or just friends, like you say, or colleagues or people you live with. That is such a test. It is
yeah,
insane. And at the end of the day, I'm kind of happy I'm alone. And it's not like BM to him. He's kind of the same because my flat isn't big either. So it would be a disaster. So it sucks being alone, but I still think for me, it's probably the best possible situation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I was just gonna bring up is like I'm so happy that Valorant came out because not only has it given me a game to play with friends, like it's actually been
Yes.
great because I tweeted a couple weeks ago. It's like at that beautiful point where everyone, no matter their skill level, can all play together because like nobody
Yeah.
cares right now. There's no ranked mode or whatever. But also, it's given me like a ton of content to do. Like doing that show match last night was super fun. So I think I've been doing mostly okay. But I feel you where it's like I'm trying not to push myself too much and like to sit back and play video games or do something else whenever I can. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
the shows like having the LEC, I think a lot of people maybe think, oh, it's easier from home, but it really isn't. And when it comes to a show and a live show, like probably you found with the fight night as well, it's like when it comes to a live show, you still have this adrenaline rush and constant attention you have to have on so many things at the same time, which is even harder it seems online because at least in person in the studio, someone comes up to you personally and asks you this thing.
yeah,
So another person you hear on comms, another person you hear on Slack, but it's and when it's online, it's all on your PC in front of you, constantly coming from all sides for like 8 hours straight. So it's also really exhausting, but I was still happy I had the LEC. Like just having that made I had a goal, right?
yeah.
And now I'm like off for a week, but Valorant has given me a goal because I want to play, I want to get better. I want to maybe make content and cast. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The rhythm I think of it must be super jarring to go from like the rhythm of for years you've been like working with all the producers and everybody like in studio, now having to have that rhythm like disrupted, and then like so many single points of failure, right? Like
Yeah.
Spectrum, shout out to Spectrum for being jerks, the
Shout out to
Vodafone
Vodafone.
of the of the US. Yeah, it's just like I feel so bad for Kobe because he really cares. I mean, you've worked with him a ton.
Yeah.
He cares deeply about like the quality of his cast and like his performance. And whenever there's just like internet issues that just you never know, what's gonna happen. It's just very very frustrating, I think.
Yeah, it's like yeah, that whole meme from like, oh, everyone's actually using what they pay for and it
Yes,
breaks. It's like
yes,
I'm on LTE constantly, by the way. It doesn't do enough for me to be able to do anything. And well, now that the weather's nice and people are breaking the rules, they're all outside. So
yeah,
it's actually okay in the day. But like even Netflix does not work properly for me at all. And I guess it's all normal. Everything's overloaded, but you think it's been a month. Like, why
yeah.
is nothing getting better?
Yeah, that's my frustration too. Is it just I've been told by Spectrum that like they're looking into it, but they can't give any timeline, and like they're still gonna like even just trying to claw back some of the money. You think like $50,
Yeah,
which is what I'd love to have back. Because I
yeah.
feel like I'm paying twice as much than I should. Like they just fight you tooth and nail on it, and it's like okay,
Agree.
you guys are charging me for stuff I'm not getting, so it's just very frustrating.
Yeah, for sure. It's and I've started to laugh at it. And also I hate putting companies on blast. I just think it's most of the time I just think it's really tacky when I see someone with a big following just like forcing someone's hand for a lot of the times silly issues, right? A lot of the times like things that wasn't even anyone's fault in the first place. Then sometimes I think you do it a lot of times where it is like I'm like, okay, well they really fucked up. Like they should get put on blast. But with Vodafone, I was just like, I was so frustrated,
Yeah.
like to the point where I call this one lady. She's like, She's like, it's all coming back. She's like, well, you never called us. It's not on record. So they never did a measurement. And I'm like, okay, send her a screenshot of the number, which if you Google it is the contact number,
Yeah.
of which I had a woman on the phone and she said, I'm going to give you to someone else who's going to do the test. And they said, we can't do the test because our internet is down. It's like, wow, great. So the thing is that they're so sleazy. They just lie. They straight up lie. And that's the most annoying thing. Because if they say, listen, we have done 2 tests, but unfortunately our server capacity isn't up to speed, but we're going to give you a refund, even if it's like $10 a month
Yeah.
for everyone who has having troubles, but they just don't, and they just lie.
Yeah. It's actually so aggravating. I have you ever seen, oh, what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The guy that does like all the funny like anime clips, Su Young, I think is his name.
Oh yeah,
On,
yeah. What's his name? Yeah, the cute drawings.
No. I'm thinking of somebody
Oh.
else now. I'm a jerk. He does. Hang on. Let me see if I can find him on YouTube.
We can cut it out and you can just Google him.
You know, this is all going into the video. It's all people are seeing me actively search for this person. Anyway, he has a great one, which is about being like a verified person on Twitter and bludgeoning people with your blue check mark and how your blue check mark makes you so much more powerful and all this stuff. But it's very, very funny. I'll link it to you afterwards, and everybody else. Somebody will link it in the comments. How do you
feel about it? Because it's often tacky, isn't it? She's like,
I try to DM them first. That is now I've started doing that, and I let them live in terror of the blue check mark in the DM. They see the DM.
They have to reply, and it's like I can't help that I have a blue check mark that I have to put you on blast.
Yes, you can't help that. That's true. I mean, you could make a separate Twitter account, but and so I go from like DMs to like adding them so that people can't see it, you know, unless they follow both of us. To then just like public complaint, and I leverage.
Does Ovely have more followers than you already, or what's going on?
She's definitely growing a ton. I can't keep.
Yo, Lore is growing so much. Her Insta is like at 100,000.
It's these youngsters, these young whippersnappers. Unlike the boomers, like us, they're so hungry for growth and
look.
Stuff
you get an exclusive on the Insta I'm about to post. But
great! I'm excited.
But well, I mean, by the time this is out, you will have already seen it, obviously.
Oh, great! Thank you. I've already, you're mostly just showing me your legs, but that's great. Thank you. This will be the YouTube thumbnail. I appreciate that. I really need to make up the gap in some of the content I couldn't get at final. So
I mean, about the content creation, there is that pressure of like, at least when I go to the studio, there's a professional photographer who takes pictures of me, and I look semi-decent because someone has been doing my makeup for an hour. Like I get up here and I'm like, oh my god, I need to do something. I need to be present. So I usually just pick one day and I take a bunch of pictures.
That has been a huge problem for me. Not having a makeup person and a professional photographer who will just take pictures of me during this quarantine has been a huge issue.
Is that
I struggle all the time without having a professional makeup artist and a professional photographer just following me around. I was trying to be
self-deprecating and you turn it into a diva moment.
Aren't you glad you agreed to this interview? Oblie's at 125k followers, and I'm at like 155. So yeah, she's gonna probably surpass me this year.
I mean, I actually think I mean, it's crazy how good her content is. So
no, I agree. She puts way more effort into growing that stuff than me. Also, she's posting. I'm looking at pictures of her posting like an aerial acrobatic thing that she did. So
I saw that.
I'm not gonna be able to keep up with that.
I mean, you could. You know what? A colleague of mine used to do is whenever I would post a picture, he would like emulate the picture, and it would end up getting more likes than. So you could, whenever Ovely posts a picture, just do the same.
Do the same? Yeah. Okay, but I feel like that's very mean.
If you're good friends, it's kind of cute, but after 10, you're like, oh god, can you cut it out?
Laura's at 117. Wow, she's growing really quick.
Yeah. Yo, did you see the YouTube thing I posted today about my children?
No. I'm looking at your Twitter.
I was trying to figure out how long we'd been quarantined, so I thought, oh, I look at when the LEC got canceled. So I Googled that, and it's that thing where I announced it, where I looked like really awful, and just like this thread about how I have children that I put in an orphanage, and like.
I thought so too, but if you follow her on IG, she often talks about how she's getting older and stuff, but goddamn, she looks old. Pretty sure it's because she had a child recently, so she got that mom look now. What? She has
What's
no
wrong
child.
with
She's
mom
never been
looks?
pregnant. Yes, she does, but she pitted in an orphanage institution because she couldn't take care of the child. Check his Twitter. She is crying.
I mean, I do cry a lot, but it's not because
I mean, that
of
is true. I
children.
have seen you cry on multiple occasions.
Oh man, and that together with the MSI thing yesterday, where all the trolls came out and the fanboys, it's been a rough 2 days on Twitter, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not been rough; it's just been hilarious. But
Yeah, it's been rough for me too. Whenever my region gets an extra seed, I mean it's a rough time.
well, obviously, it's like logics, and you like. I'm not even saying anything contra. I mean, I did stir the pot just a little bit. But so then people are like, well, no, you should have someone review the quality of the games that were played versus each other, and then accordingly, make a ranking and seeds. What? Do you not think that's a stupid idea? Do you
Yeah,
not
I
think
think
that's
that's I think that's stupid. I'm not
They
sure.
know it's stupid.
I think that's a stupid idea. I'm not sure if setting 40% of one region is a smart idea, but I do agree that the other idea is stupid.
Well, I guess the only way is if you want to allocate 2 extra seeds, that's the most logical way to do it. Like, look at this, what they've always done, by the way, right? And the thing is, if it was Korea, nobody would be mad. That's always the point. If you look at a certain like angle at an argument, and no, in this situation, nobody would have been mad. Same like with the losers bracket or the lower bracket in LEC, which I mean, the format is definitely not perfect, but if G2 wasn't the team that came back and won, people would be so different about in their opinion about it, in my opinion. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't need work, right? But it's
Oh, you mean like if G2 had not made it out of the losers bracket, people
well,
would
if
be
G2 would have
salty.
just gone through the winner bracket, and if
Oh,
let's say Mad lost, but Mad then beat someone and got
like
back into
Fnatic?
the final.
okay.
Yeah.
So people would be more salty if there was a losers bracket if it was like G2 versus Mad than G2 versus Fnatic.
Well, no, I think they're salty now because G2 was always the team that was like gonna win, that was hyped by the casters. And that was the team that fell down and got a second chance and then beat Fnatic. So it was like a perfect storm. But yeah, I think maybe they should do like a full lower bracket or what, I don't know, but I don't have any decision, right? I mean, we do talk about it, but it's
If
not
you
like
if you have an opinion on what you think the format change should be, please send it to Sjokz. Just tweet at her, and she'll make sure that you're heard.
Vedius is always in those talks. He's a riot. Send everything to him.
Good, at Sjokz and at Vedius. Make sure, and just actually at the whole broadcast team. Get Frosk in there, Medic.
Oh
just
my god!
Quick shot, everybody. Just make sure.
I mean,
that
they're all
you're...
freelancers now. So
wow. Okay. Is this a good time to go freelance? You think?
I mean,
it was time?
Epic timing. Epic.
I mean, not for you because you had a good year last year, but I just mean like right now, like jumping freelance right when this hits is spooky.
Dude, I talked to Yamato and he was just the guy. You know, the guy puts out like 7 videos a week.
Yeah.
He works really hard at it, and he's just like, all these jobs I was gonna do, I just can't do now. It sucks, but I mean, luckily the LEC was also very chivalrous in like, even if we missed the days, we would still get compensated for spring and stuff. So they were actually really, really good with that, which was a lifesaver for most of us for sure. Because, yeah, my last year was good, but you never stop counting, right? About, okay, well, I've lost out on this much possibly that I could use for this towards my future. And also, as you say, like helping family out. And I try and also help out like local businesses. Like I have my hairdresser opened his own salon right before this hit. So like I bought a bunch of products and made appointments and paid them, which I'm going to do in the future and stuff like that. I think those are all things we can do that help for people that don't have it as easy. I think here in Belgium, we're also buying nights in hotels and fancy hotels, or hotels in general, for people who work in healthcare and all of that. So after we stimulate both the hotels and the people that have been putting their lives on the line for us. So I think there's a lot of cool initiatives.
Yeah. I've definitely seen some stuff like that. I need to get better about going and buying like gift cards and stuff, but I have been trying to do a lot of like food order and that type of stuff. I agree with you though on the ordering food from local businesses is good.
Yeah. That's just funny. It's like, well, you gotta eat anyway.
No, but well, okay. What's very funny is I usually eat out a lot because I work from home and I'm a very social person. No, my point is it has changed. It's the unfortunate thing. So I work from home. So I usually try to schedule like lunches or dinners with friends.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. So I've actually been shopping, which is something I don't normally do. And so literally just by like I'm actually this whole situation, I'm doing less restaurants than before,
Have
which is
you
bad.
discovered, or you knew this, but I was talking to our mutual manager. He said, well, the supermarkets in LA, it's like we compared what I spend in a week if I was like alone, and that's not only buying the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
And the difference was so big.
In
Supermarkets are
which
so
direction?
expensive.
In
Holy
LA?
shit. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Yoni probably likes to go to like the most expensive supermarkets and buy the most expensive stuff. All right,
Caviar.
that guy is not buying the store brand anything. Okay, Yoni is he's finding he's not looking at the sale stuff. He makes so much money off of our commissions that he just he doesn't even look. And so I'm sure that he like loads up the receipt afterwards and it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I spent this much money. And he's like, gotta get Sjokz another deal. That's what he says at that moment.
Yeah.
He's like, I
No
wish
comment.
she would those brands would email her instead of DMing her because then I'd make so much more money.
Yo, the wackest thing happened when I went to the supermarket yesterday. So
Okay.
it's been really sunny here,
Yeah.
and I have a hammock. So 2 days ago, it's like, oh, I'm on holiday. I'm going to drink like a glass of wine. So I had two. I wouldn't say they were huge, but it was kind of big glasses of wine, and it was in the sun. And when you're in the sun, you kind of don't. And usually, 2 glasses of wine in a day is fine. But I sat in the sun, and it really hit me. I was not feeling too well, so I was like, oh, I'll go outside and I'll do my shopping. And then I got like a lot of stuff, and then I
You
don't
were
know if it's
drunk
because of,
shopping?
not drunk, but like not. I don't know.
You were buzzed?
I was buzzed because of the sun and the wine.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll just shop, and then when I'm back, it's fine. And then I forgot my PIN code to my card, which like I used thousands of times already, right?
Yeah.
And it was just one of those where I like, fuck. And the lady's like, your PIN, please. I'm like, 1 second. She's like, your PIN, please. I'm like, 1 second.
Oh, that's right, because you guys can't, because we can just use a credit card, but you guys need a PIN even for the credit card, right?
Yeah, and also it's like payless, but not over. They lowered it or they hired it. I don't know, but not over
Okay.
because otherwise someone could just always use all your money if they find your
Right.
card, right? It was so weird. And then
Did you
I
figure
got
out their
home.
PIN?
No, I didn't. So what I did is I got cash. I was like, can I leave my groceries? I'm getting cash. I'm coming back because they ideally don't want you to pay with cash. But she
Yeah.
was very understanding, and I think she's like, it happens to all of us.
Oh no.
And then
This
I
is
went
why
back. Yeah.
This is why
Yeah.
Lore and Ovely are going to overtake us because we're just
forget.
ancient now.
We're ancient. Yeah, we're old. We're such. Oh, yo, my favorite thing is to troll Ender because it was like his 22nd birthday and he calls everyone boomers. So we started calling him a boomer, even though he isn't. And
Yeah.
he's going crazy. He's just like, no.
Is this your call for the community to start referring to him as a boomer?
Yes, please. Please. Oh, you're so evil. I love it.
Yes, I try. I learned from somebody recently how to be more evil.
Oh.
That's a reference. I have a girlfriend. I don't know
It's
if
public. It's public, isn't it?
it's public.
Okay.
we're
just checking.
we're official.
Yeah. Lucky you.
I know. Either way, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know we've covered so many important topics like getting old.
Do we get enough bombshells? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Have you heard any rumors? You hear about Doublelift going to TSM?
I did hear about that. Yeah. I was wondering, with the whole. Are they together? Can you say that? Or because on Twitter and on Insta they keep doing the whole "Hi, you're my best friend."
Oh
You're
yeah,
my
they've
best
been
friend.
public for a while.
Okay, good.
They were just memeing on that in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the
picture.
picture I posted from All Stars, but they
Oh
are.
yeah, of course. I try to be extra careful with this stuff.
Yes, yeah.
So I was thinking like, oh, maybe this. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Is it legally a conflict of interest? I guess.
I don't think
yes,
there's a
but
legal aspect.
Yeah,
of it.
legally no. Like it's more. Is it just like bad faith or bad practice, or would it be? I don't know.
I mean,
but
in
legally, it's
traditional
fine.
sports, you couldn't do this. But we esports, baby. So let's
Well, I
bring
don't
it
know.
on.
Is there precedent for that? I don't know.
Yeah, so I actually talked to Rick Fox about this at All Stars. I was like, "Hey, by the way, very funny thing about Peter and Lena," and he referred to, I guess back in the day, there was like the general manager, I think, of the Lakers was dating the daughter of the owner, I believe is what it was, like Jeannie Buss. So it's there's there's corollaries in traditional sports, but this is definitely an interesting thing. I think what's
Yeah.
super fascinating to me is, so Lena and Peter are quarantining together. So like I assume Lena's just on the phone with Steve, like
God, like negotiating his price.
yeah, right,
Uh,
exactly. While
but
Peter's maybe sitting there, it's just very strange. I don't
by the
know.
way, this is all maybe. I mean, you would know. I would know what was
I mean,
going on.
it's pretty clear it's happening now, or at least the discussions are moving there. Although Andy's been tweeting a lot of weird, random shit lately, so I don't know what that
Yeah, I mean, I don't
means.
know. I like to think about kind of the whole competitive implication, and hopefully, the rest will get figured out as we go. Because I don't necessarily think it is a total blocker. Because there is a world in which this would happen regardless, right? There is,
Yeah,
I guess, so many people are already talking about, oh, he's going to leave or he's not going to be with TL anymore because of how things are going. So it's not completely out of
I mean, he was
nowhere.
on really. The thing that surprised me about the whole thing was that, um, I don't know what their relationship looks like now. Uh, Alienware training facility, Team Liquid and Doublelift.
Yeah.
But last year, I thought they were on really good terms, and so like that's why this really surprised me because I actually kind of expected him to retire on Team Liquid,
Hmm.
and so it's weird that just over the course of one split, like things got so sour between them. But maybe that's just how
Yeah.
things go sometimes.
I mean, I wonder also if it goes in this whole, and this again, I do not know anything about internal workings or whatnot, but we saw the Cloud9 thing about how at the beginning of the year they were like, we don't, basically paraphrasing, we don't want slackers anymore. We want people
Yeah,
who work hard and only focus on this one goal and actually are committed to their own performance and their own growth. I wonder if that's creating like a shockwave throughout the LCS, and
maybe. I think it's more just
maybe.
TL. Like if you, it's kind of clear that the relationship soured because TL placed ninth after winning back to back to back to back, and
But is that his
they
fault? I mean, yeah,
no,
he
no, no.
did.
But I mean, but also he was vocally hostile multiple times publicly about the coaching
True,
situation
true.
and all that stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I think people will debate back and forth for probably years to come, depending on what happens with TL and TSM about like should TL have replaced the coaches instead of Peter to make him happy, or I
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think what is very funny is I do think this is kind of a big brain move by Steve because Peter's contract was up at the end of this year anyway. So if you're on
Oh,
bad terms and you feel like you're not going to be able to renew him anyway, like why not just make some money by trading him to a team early
yeah.
and cash out, you know?
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. And I mean, maybe it's what it could be good for everyone involved. And it's like, you remember what in the beginning that was always happening? It was like the whole Void Boy curse CLG thing,
yeah.
whatever.
Oh yeah, the three-way
And then we
trade.
thought, yeah, and they were like, oh, this is never gonna like this is gonna stop happening as much, but it's still happening all the
Yeah.
time because I
Big
guess
trades.
everyone has much money to throw around.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it's cool. I like to think about. I don't know. It's kind of cool if he would be back on TSM. It's
Yeah.
kind of shitty for Kobby though. Like that's
I feel
what's gonna happen
so
to
bad
him.
for him. And I like there's a lot of people speculating that maybe he wanted to leave, but I haven't heard any rumors
Kobby,
around him having wanting to leave
but he
TSM.
just got there.
Well, people are like his girlfriend I guess is back in Europe and so
Well, because
maybe he
yeah.
misses her a lot, but I don't know. I mean,
Mm,
do you feel like there's places I feel like it's more likely he just gets traded to another LCS team. I don't think he'll come back to LEC.
I don't think he's the kind of person that would like their relationship is solid and all that, and I don't think he would kind of jeopardize that for that amount of time they're not seeing each other. All respect
Yeah.
to him if he does, but I think he came to NA with the right intentions and still has that drive, and he still wants to make it to Worlds. Like that's it. Um, but where would he go?
I mean,
I don't
TL
know.
will be an option, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, but
Bang has been tweeting a bunch of emo shit, so maybe and about
who?
how he wants to
Bang?
go home. Bang,
Oh,
so
yeah.
maybe he could go to EG. Um, I don't know. It's hard to say. Dig potentially. I don't know. It's got to feel bad if you you're like, I'm joining like TSM still has a huge amount of like brand equity and stuff, and so you feel like you're
Absolutely.
switching to North America to join one of the biggest teams. You're gonna feel great, and then you come over there, and after a split, you're out. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you don't know how to, because like that only has to be a slap in the face if you, Lord knows, you just read that like we did
Yeah,
from a wolf bomb or something, which I hope is not the case. But whew, that's shitty. My EU brethren, I mean, they're kicking ass this splits. Holy shit.
yeah.
That's good. That's cool. And Sven, I'm really happy for Sven.
I'm very happy
Um,
for Sven. I actually feel so good for him because, like, and I'll own up to the fact that like I've definitely memed on him whenever he was on TSM. You know, it's easy as an analyst to like poke jokes at,
that's what we're
whenever
calling you now.
they come over. It's easy as a personality to hear, oh, best in the West, and then they come over, they join TSM, who's like a historically a very cocky team, and then just underdeliver. It's easy to poke fun, but then as time goes on and you sort of see the emotional toll that it takes on the person, like it's really cool to see Sven just like hard grind, because I think for a lot of other people they would just be like fuck it, but the fact that he pushed so hard to redeem himself, I feel like is a really cool story. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Good stuff. Good. I mean, nobody can be mad at Cloud9 winning that trophy. That's just it. They worked hard. It was awesome. It was good stuff. Cool.
okay, so final questions here. What are you going to be doing over the next couple of weeks? There's no
So now I'm
LEC.
technically on holiday. I'm on holiday.
Yes.
No
So
MSI.
yeah.
Yay, congratulations, G2 Esports. You're now, just like SKT, who was the only other team to do it in history, the 2-year running MSI champion. Can I get an applause,
Not
everyone?
sure if that works that way.
No, but it pisses people off, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna, this week I was like off or whatever. I am going to put out more Valorant content, or try to. I'm trying to figure out how. I'm going to stream next week. I am working with a Counter-Strike tournament organizer to hopefully cover some of their online stuff. But that's all like in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to try and just relax and, I don't know, do my taxes, spring cleaning, all that good stuff. How
That's
about you?
fun. Are you playing any games other than Valorant?
No, Scribble. You know Scribble?
Okay. Yeah. I've
That's
been
it.
playing Animal Crossing. Like for me, I'm really excited because
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like a bunch
Animal
of cool
Crossing.
games came
Animal
out.
Crossing.
Are you playing Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I've been playing Animal Crossing. Nicole got me into it actually, and now I play more than her. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake has been cool. I actually play Runeterra. A lot of people are memeing on the idea that a lot of people don't play Runeterra, but I get like insta queues, so I actually think a lot more people are playing it than are.
I mean, if it's like
TFT.
not a lot, it's still millions of people. So
I potentially am a Riot shill because I just play all their games now. Like it's so funny. I'll just rotate in a day between like Runeterra, TFT, which technically
yeah,
is League of Legends, I guess. Valorant. Yeah, it's just playing a bunch
they're
of different
killing
stuff.
it. They're killing
Yeah.
it. What can
Yeah,
you? What else
exactly.
can you say? And also this whole, we haven't talked about that, and we should get into it now. But just like this whole, I get that you want to be critical about things in other games, but like the mindless shitting on other games, and this is not just a Valorant thing, right? This is for always like the communities, like the Overwatch community and the Dota and League and CS. They just want to throw
Are people
cheap
shitting on
shots at each
Valorant?
other. Well, they're not shitting on it, but they're constantly with this. It's never going to beat CS. It's like, it's nobody's saying that it should. Like nobody's.
No, I'm
Why are
saying
you
it
so
should.
insecure?
It should
I mean,
beat CS. CS is a dead game. Actually, I have so much fun when I'm talking to Launders or casting with him, where I'll poke fun at CS:GO and stuff. It's
yeah.
actually so great.
But I mean,
yeah,
it happens with all of us, right? But I feel like it happens more. I just see it more, I guess, because I follow all these people. It's like, why do you need to just let it be? Like,
I feel like there's a lot of, it's like insecurity, right? Obviously, right? It's like the big dog in the room now, I feel like. And so people get super insecure about
yeah,
their
and like
stuff.
Counter Strike is so awesome, regardless.
Yeah.
And it's like in the last 2 years has been thriving more than it ever has before, right? And if anything, this is going to push maybe Valve to do more positive things with the game and with like the competition and everything, and then we're all happy. I'm a positive Nancy.
Or like I've never been super into CS, and so like this is fun for, because it now gives me like a way to play that type of game, without, because I need a character where I can throw a grenade into a room and it kills 3 people, and so
like,
and
Raze,
that's not
just be overpowered as fuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
They nerfed her.
They nerfed her. They also nerfed Sage is actually, I think Sage is S tier. And when I started, I was like, oh, I'm going to play the healer again. Typical. But I was like, what if I want to play the healer? And she's fucking OP. She has a self heal, first of all.
Yeah.
That alone. The wall can, like, has a boost, has blocking.
Sage and Brimstone, like, that's what annoyed me is that people complained about Raise a ton, but at the high end, like, it was Sage and Brimstone right now that most people think are OP. So.
Dude, Brimstone just 3 smokes tactic and run on the side. It's great. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, I think we've been talking for an hour.
It's only been
an hour.
45 minutes.
Yeah. Are you going to upload this whole thing?
Yeah.
Huh. Wow.
You think I give a fuck? You think I edit?
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, anything you want to say? Anything you want to shout out?
Nah, man. Shout out to everyone at home. We'll get through this together, all from home. And be sure to, if you can, also just take it as a time to, I don't know, relax and don't force yourself when you have a day off or something to do all these other things because other people are like, your mental health comes first.
Listen, if you're not grinding, you're falling behind. All right? That's my message. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Everybody relax. Play some video games. Play a part together.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Sjokz, for the interview. Always great to connect. And this is good. Honestly, I just enjoyed this because it was just us chatting for 45 minutes.
Catching
I haven't heard
up,
you from forever.
I know.
Yeah. Normally, we'd
fun.
have MSI soon where we'd be able to hang out, but I'm glad that we were able to do this. So thanks for taking the time. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel.
Okay, bye.
Hello, everyone. This outro is a little different because I want to spotlight this monitor that I just got sent from Alienware that is NVIDIA G-Sync compatible. Thank you so much to them. I'm going to play Valorant on it, and I want to do an unboxing, but I definitely don't have enough time in this outro, so boom, there we go. We got it unboxed. Now I'm running it off of an Alienware notebook with an NVIDIA card in it, so we're getting 144 FPS, but this baby with the right setup can go up to 240. So check it out. You want to play Valorant, play it on this thing. You can go check it out over at alienware.com/Travis. There's a link in the video description below.